think there's certain moments in life that come up when it feels like it's kind of like a little ritual to make a wish, or just set an intention, that kind of thing. Like if you're celebrating your birthday, and I don't think people really do this too much, past childhood. But for example, you have your cake with your candles in it, you blow it out, you make a wish. That's kind of like a common thing, at least from where I live. Or just other little things, like you see 11:11 on a clock, you make a wish. Or if you have an eyelash that comes off, you like get an eyelash on your finger that fell out of your eye, and you blow it off. That's kind of another little make a wish. And there's tons of things. I'm sure they're different in different cultures, but just these little things that pop up. And I think at its heart, it's kind of a nice thing. It's just a time to just think of something that you want in life, some change you'd like to make, something you hope for the future, and just to kind of set that intention and to put it out there and kind of set yourself up on the path to making that happen. Even if you're not thinking of directly taking actions toward this thing, just kind of putting it out there. Here's this specific thing that I want out of life, that I would like to happen, and just putting it out there. I think that's really nice. I think that's just kind of the first step towards anything happening, like taking control of your life and setting yourself up to move in a direction that you'd like to, and have these things happen. I think that's just kind of the first basic step. And a lot of times when that stuff pops up, it actually makes me feel really anxious, because it'll come up and I'll just think, oh, here, this is the time that you make a wish. This is this little like cultural ritual or whatever. Here's the time that I make a wish. Let me think of something that I want. And I just won't be able to think of anything. And it's not because I am satisfied with my life, not by a long shot. So it's not like, that I feel like that's kind of like a parable or like a fable or something. It's like you can keep on like wanting more and more things until you have everything you ever want, and then you're just like content. There's nothing more you would ask for. It's not at all like that. I don't even know if that's a real case that could ever happen to anybody. But so there are many things I would like to change about my life, and many things I'd like to do and have happen, different trajectories to go along. Just like jobs I'd like to have, places I'd like to visit, creative projects I'd like to accomplish, just anything like that. There's tons of things like that. And for some reason, when the moment comes to, take a moment of quiet and kind of set an intention or a wish for the future, I just have a hard time thinking of anything at all. And I think that really stresses me out, because if I can't think of something to wish for or to hope for, I can think of like some general things in general, just things I'd like, but just taking a moment to set one specific thing. And when I'm not able to think of anything, it just makes me feel like I'm going nowhere at all, because how could I make a change? How could I set an intention towards something that I want if I can't even think of one relatively specific thing to do? And I kind of just feel like I'm having a crisis when that stuff pops up. Like, I'm sure people may feel anxious on their birthday. It's like you're getting older and trying to think of things that you'd like to do, and I feel like that's a common enough thing. But then even just these little other things, like, you know, I see 11:11 on a clock, and it's like, okay, that doesn't happen, you know, all that often, and it's kind of a nice little thing when it does, and that's just a reminder, okay, this is my time, just for a moment, to think of something I want and put it out there into the world, just that intention and wish out there, and I just can't think of anything most of the time, and it makes me feel like I'm just kind of like just treading water. I'm not swimming towards anything. I can't even see something out. It's like I'm just in the middle of the ocean, going nowhere. There's not land in sight to head towards. There's not anything. There's not a boat out there. There's not, you know, a piece of driftwood floating, something like that. There's nothing, and I can't even think of something to put out there. It's like, in that analogy, I can't even, you know, think of something that could be out in the water, just as another thing out there. Not even necessarily to move towards, just something that I think of that would be out there, as a possibility to move towards or to have happen, anything like that. It just makes me feel like I'm going nowhere, and it makes me feel like I have no control over my own life. Like, when you're supposed to have these things that you want to do, and I do have things, like general things, but when the time comes to, like, kind of make at least just a brief mental commitment towards something that you like, I just can't do it a lot of the times, and it makes me feel like, if this is the time, you know, I have this moment to set aside for whatever reason, this little ritual to make an intention, and I can't do it, how am I ever going to make any changes in my life if I can't even think of something to do, or a goal to go towards, or something that I would like, even just like indirectly, to happen to me? And like I was saying, I feel like I almost have like a crisis when those moments pop up. You know, like, what do I want? Why can't I think of anything? And, you know, and just such a small moment like that just kind of can start spiraling down, and you just kind of you get into this downward spiral of like, why can't I think of anything that I want? You know, I'm not making any moves towards anything, and, you know, that whole thing could just kind of quickly get out of control, all stemming from basically just a pretty lighthearted event, you know, just like a birthday or something, or, you know, or, you know, making like a New Year's wish, or anything like that. Just these little moments to do something. I haven't really figured out anything as far as a solution or like a mindset change or anything like that about this. And there's definitely other times in life, you know, not related to these like wish type rituals, that I can think of more specific things if I kind of like sit down. I'm trying to plan something, or just like if a thought pops up, like, oh, you know, I just heard about this place, or I heard about this city in some other country that like looks really cool. I haven't heard of that before. Like, I'd like to go there and, you know, experience that. Just like little things like that. That does pop up. It's more just like when you know, these times that we've, you know, kind of like culturally set aside to, these are the times to make some type of intention or wish. That's when I feel like I just can't do it. A lot of times I think I overthink it. That'll pop up and I'll think, oh, okay, I have to like think of something that I want, And I think somehow in those moments, I'm not able to think of something because I'm thinking too much about the whole journey to get there. I'm not just seeing this kind of distant goal or whatever and just thinking, oh, that would be nice if that happens, and just kind of leaving it at that. Like, here's something that would be cool that I would like, and just leaving it there. It's more like I almost stop myself from thinking of those things because I'm not just thinking of this point, this faraway point that like would be nice to get to. I'm thinking of that point and then just this whole process to get there. And of course, I don't know all the steps to do that because if I did, I would have already done that. If it was just something easy that I could figure the whole thing out right then, that would have already happened. It's just the stuff that you don't know all the steps to get there. And, that's the nice part about setting these wishes is you have a goal, and then the path towards that goal kind of opens up because you have a set thing you want, and then the way opens for you as you go and as you work towards that, and opportunities arise, and it kind of a path unfolds, and then you get there if you have that point in mind at the beginning. And when you try and have everything figured out just from the get-go, I'm having this wish, I'm having like this 30-second wish crisis, and I'm trying to think of something I want, and then I'm like stopping myself because it feels like maybe it's too far out, and I'm thinking of all the things that I have to do in the middle to get there. And then at that point you just kind of like choke off all potential progress because I'm already just thinking of, oh, I can't do this. This isn't something that's really possible because in this, maybe this 10-second moment that I'm trying to think of something, I'm not able to think of the entire process, of course, which would be silly if I could do that. So just something I've been experiencing, I feel like, especially just in adulthood, just this overthinking about intentions, things I like, and not letting them unfold naturally and just cutting them off before I even start, or before I even like have a goal in the first place. I think it's a really negative way to live. I really don't like that perspective I have and that kind of habit of just like cutting myself off from stuff like that. I don't think I'm explaining this all that well. I know this is a little bit rambly, but if you kind of get what I mean, or if you have some anxiety, making a wish or setting goals, anything like that, I would be interested to hear from people. This isn't something I've really talked about too much to people, and I really don't think I can formulate my thoughts about this in a very articulate way, so I'm not even really sure this is coming across like anything, or if it's just like as usual in these videos, just me kind of rambling for a while about something without really saying anything. So anyway, I would be interested to hear if you kind of get what I mean and you have any similar experience. If you have any if you've had the experience of like changing your mindset about this type of thing, and maybe this used to happen, but now you're more able to kind of like get around it, and that kind of thing. I think these wish moments that pop up should just be like a purely positive experience. Giving yourself permission to, without any restrictions, just think of something you'd like, just something purely out of interest, without the boundaries, restrictions of kind of like the logical side of yourself, trying to like figure out all of the details of it. Just a purely an interest, like a thing that you like. And I think that's really nice to give ourselves those moments where you just like let yourself want something without trying to figure it out and without like talking yourself out of it, and you know, just trying to like logically think through all this stuff. You know, I think if you let yourself have that perspective, then the possibilities really open up to like almost anything that you could want if you're not trying to figure it out from the get-go. If you just set a goal and then, you know, let yourself move towards it, you know, and the logical stuff will open up as you go. You don't have to figure it out from the start. If you have a goal in mind, I think the path will open up. But at least for me, I often just kind of like cut it off from the beginning. And these you know, little moments to make a wish just bring me anxiety rather than inspiration, or just kind of like a lighthearted interest in something that I'd like. So anyway, let me know if this makes any sense to you, if you've had this experience. I would be interested in talking to people about it. All right, that's all.